Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for, for having me today. Thank you so much, Mary, for the referral, and thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you, Mr. James. Thank you, Dennis, Emmanuel, Pippin, Ima, and everyone who is here. Sorry, I'm not able to call everybody's name. I'm glad to be here. I will just share my screen, so within the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will just discuss on what we call, sorry. Okay. Can you see my screen though? I need to show.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay.
Carry on.
Right. I'll just put it on getting it. All right. So I've developed a sub-team from the actual team of this conversation around intersectionality and diversity to say, okay, youth-led leadership, championing diversity and inclusion. And all I'll be gisting you about today is just sharing experiences on how you can be better leaders wherever you find yourself. It's interesting to note that you all have applied for the national president, and that shows that you are interested in being a leader. You are interested in taking some responsibility as regards the progress of Africa. And it's enviable, I must say. So for being in this room, you're worthy of celebration. Please just give yourself a round of applause wherever you are. Really. All right. So yep. So Mary already described or gave a short bio about myself, and I would just want to call out that I've been part of many leadership programs in the past, and I think that experience has informed my teaching today. So I hope or aim to also be able to impact you and also encourage you to be a leader wherever you find yourself. A volunteer is a leader. A president is a leader. If you are leading any community, if you are taking any responsibility, you are a leader. A leader is not necessarily a position, right, but an act. So if a young boy sees something wrong and is trying to correct it or influence a positive change, that young boy or young girl is a leader, right? So I'll just move on very quickly to discuss what I've called what is transformational leadership. So this has become a buzzword around, but beyond just saying, oh, transformational leadership is the new thing in town. Everybody's saying everybody should move from transactional leadership to transformational leadership. I would like to say that transformational leadership is a type of leadership style that inspires and motivates teams to make a positive and significant change in a given environment, right? So if you are a transformational leader, you want to motivate and inspire your followers towards a particular goal, and that goal is positive, right? So for us here at AYLF, right, whatever is the goal you probably set, or if you are still considering setting a goal for your national at the national level, right, it's ultimately that there's some measure of change in your country and in sync with the overall goal of AYLF, right? If I'm correct. So at that level, it's important to note that if you want to be a transformational leader, if you want to lead people, influence people and get results, you need to be able to inspire them and motivate them and not boss them around. I think that's the major difference between a transformational leader and a transactional leader. So it speaks more of the process than the end result. Why you have the end result in view that, okay, we want to achieve X, Y, Z before the end of the year. It's more of how do I bring people that I have around me? How do I interact with people around me? How do I influence everyone around me, influence the system, influence the people, influence the policies, right, to achieve this end result? But a transactional leader is just focused on, okay, yes, we want to make sure this is done. Whether anybody dies in the process, none of my business. I just want to get the job done. Everybody go suit yourself or deal with it. That's who a transactional leader is. But a transformational leader is saying, how can I influence them? How can I even get willing hands and willing hearts to achieve my result or to achieve our results, right? That's even a better way to put it, right? So I want to just quickly call out here that by connecting the follower's sense of identity and self to a project and to the collective identity of the organization, transformational leadership enhances the motivation, morale, and performance of followers. So from my experience, I've seen that if people are not passionate about a particular activity, it's very difficult to get their hands to the work. So I was happy when I heard that you applied and you were interviewed, and I'm sure that at the point of interview, you must have influenced whoever the panel of judges, who were considered the panel of judges, to say, I am the best person for this job. I am willing to sacrifice. I am willing to be a self-leader. I'm willing to be a leader. I'm willing to make this change, as it were, in my country. I'm really willing to represent every other youth like I am for this towards achieving a select or certain purpose, right? So ensure that as a leader, make sure that your followers as well are interested, they are willing, Don't force people. Don't lord yourself over them, right? Make sure that whatever is the goal is tied to their self-identity. Oh, I'm Pan-African. I want to be able to go anywhere in the world. And when I say I'm an African, nobody looks down on me, or nobody says, oh, there goes one of them again in a negative sense. No, I want to be out there and they're like, oh, you are part of those doing great things. Oh, you are one of you are a Nigerian as well, like to the Monokoya that got the that just recently finished, got the Guinness Book of Record. Oh yeah, this, you are that, you belong to this, and they're able to associate me with positive things and not the negative sides, right? So that is, if I see a project that is about that changing the narrative or perception of Africans anywhere, I am willing to join. So there are so many people also that have different interests. For some people, they are very passionate about green energy, they're passionate about recycling, they're passionate about agriculture, whatever. Just make sure that you are able to bring every of your followers, that their self-identity is tied to the objective, right? And just not to dwell on this too much, I'll just touch on the second point, which says it's also based on identifying the strengths, the skills, and competencies of each individual and linking them to the overall goal, right? So oh, there is Mr. A on my team, there is Mrs. B on my team, there is Miss E on my team. This person is very good with organizing. You allow her to plan the event. Oh, this person is very good with influencing. Let that person be the volunteer leader. You cannot do everything yourself as a leader, right? So it's important in the process of also embracing diversity and inclusion and intersectionality. It's important that you understand everybody's differences. I know it's a lot of work, but there goes the responsibility of a leader, right? And of course, with the help of others also, this would even make your life easier, right? So I'll just move quickly now to the perspective of leadership. This is according to Leap Africa. I was part of their session last year, and I still joined again this year just to refresh my mind and also possibly join their boot camp in July. So I thought to just take out some learnings from there and also share with us, since it's around leadership, right? So perspective of leadership, there are 10 of them. One, it says anybody can be a leader. And this is just to speak to the fact that there's no point to look down on yourself. You applied for this, you've gotten it, congratulations. You are a leader, accept it. Don't let any form of low self-esteem or maybe your situations or surroundings make you feel little or less of yourself. You are a leader, anyone can be a leader. And then that takes me to number 2, that leadership is an act, not a position. So it's not I'm the founder of this, that makes me a leader. Oh, I'm the president of this, that makes me a leader. No, it's the act. What are you doing? What do leaders do? Are you acting like a leader? Are you serving the people? Leadership, they say, is servanthood. Are you serving? If you are serving, yes. Are you serving a purpose? Are you serving this particular set of people? Then you're a leader. That action makes you a leader, not necessarily a title or a position, right? Even we ourselves, we condemn many of our leaders to say, oh, there's some honorable here, there's some governors there's some regional heads here who are doing X, Y, Z that are not befitting to the year and all of that. You don't consider them leaders. You don't consider them leaders not because of their position, but because of the act. They are corrupt. They involve themselves in shady deals, amongst other things. So a leader is by action, right? What are you doing? How are you serving the people? Are you influencing a change? Are you making a positive contribution to the organization where you are, to your community, to people in the lives of people? Are you impacting life? That's more of leadership. Then leadership is about possibility, and this is saying that it's about problem solving in a sense, right? So as a leader, you are thinking about what can I change? What's doable? If I can use that word, what's doable? What's possible, right? A leader would not see a challenge and say, oh, we can't fix this. No, a leader is saying, this is really hard. This is really a tough one. But guys, what can we do together? Ladies, what can we all do together, right? So that's the mindset of a leader, right? It's about the possibilities, what can change, what can be better. It might not even be bad. It might be good enough, but a leader is thinking, oh, can this bottle be better designed? Can this maybe solve a better problem? Or can this even help? Can this be more efficient in the process, right? So that's who a leader is. So if there's anyone on your team who is even thinking like that, that person is a leader by action. So leadership is about possibility. And I'm just trying to put things in perspective here to say, if you think you are a leader, then you should tick all these boxes. If you don't tick all the boxes, don't give up on yourself. It's a work in progress. Every one of us, we are all work in progress, right? So It's just important that you're taking notes and you're like, I would improve on this. I would be mindful of this as I continue to lead, as I have now been inaugurated as the national president. Then also anyone can lead in different ways in the society. I just gave an instance now that a team member, maybe even in a local government or in a very rural community, is making a significant change in the lives of people. That person is a leader. You can see the icon here that it could be at any level. You can be a leader either at the topmost, at the bottom, at the lowest level. If you are influencing a change, if you are causing a positive change or turnaround anywhere you find yourself, or you are influencing people towards an action, you are a leader. So anybody can lead in a different society, and there is no competition. So imagine in your own, probably in your branch or your at your own country level, there are some persons, you are the president, quite all right, and then there are some persons who are very energetic. They're saying, let's do this, let's do this. I saw a problem, identify the problem here, let's solve it. Don't feel threatened. In fact, be excited that you have such people on your team, right? Don't feel threatened by them. Instead, embrace their strengths and leverage on it to achieve results. That's who a transformational leader is, right? A transformational leader is someone who is able to influence and motivate others, make sure that it aligns with their passion, and get them to achieve the results. Sometimes a leader may not even do all the work, or a leader is not even expected to do all the work. As much as you can influence change, you are leading. So don't feel threatened by those people and say, oh, maybe they want to take over my position. No. Rather, embrace it, listen to their ideas, be open-minded. Don't feel stuck in your ways. Even share ideas with other national presidents. Oh, there's someone on my team who suggested this. I'm thinking, can Botswana partner with Nigeria or Ghana or Zambia, and let's see what we can do to achieve this. You can even suggest to the AYLF president and founder himself or his co-founder. So no one should feel threatened as much as possible, because anyone can actually lead in different ways in the society. Then number 5, that's it. Number 5, that the real essence of leadership is positive change. If you are making a positive change, you're a leader, and that's the essence, that's the goal. Why do we have leaders? Why do we look up to leaders? Or why do followers look up to leaders? Why do community look up to leaders? They say that wherever there's no law, that's where tyranny begins. And there are people that need to guide the law and ensure that things are done the right way. People are being led towards a positive change, right? So that's the real essence of leadership. So if you're not making a positive change, you might want to pause and ask yourself, am I a leader? Or if you've not thought about any positive change you want to make between now and the next 6 months that you're inaugurated, you might want to rethink that and say, what's my objective? Yes, AYLF will set objectives for everyone to achieve, but then you want to also bring that home and say, okay, does this apply in my setting? Which of these can we easily achieve? What are the quick wins? What will take a while? What do I need? Who do I need to get this done? Who am I supposed to be partnering with? Do I need to call for volunteers in my country and all of that? They also, because the founder and the co-founder know that they cannot run this by themselves. And that's why they've appointed leaders, which includes you, right? So that you also may be able to appoint others. Everybody from the top to the bottom is solving for positive change, right? So I'll just move again to the next 5 points, right? So it says, number 6 says, leaders don't do all the work themselves. I've said that already. Leaders do not do all the work themselves. They are able to influence people, bring people to achieve results. A leader who is trying to do the work of themselves is not a very bad micromanager, or the person just wants to take all the glory. And that means the person must be very proud or self-conceited, thinking that they can do everything by themselves. And 3, they won't achieve much because there's only so much one person can do. I can't, Mr. James cannot be in all the countries, and that's why everyone is here having this conversation, right? So you also cannot be in every state in your country. That's why you may also want to delegate responsibilities, right? You cannot be everywhere at the same time. Yesterday was a book drive. I wrote a book, and then I raised funds to distribute it for free across some countries, like Nigeria and Ghana, basically, and then some states in Nigeria. I was only in 2 locations, and we went to 10 places yesterday. Out of the 10, I physically was at 2 locations. I'm currently in Abuja, and there's no way I'll be in Ife, there's no way I'll be in Jos, there's no way I'll be in Ghana at the same time. But I had people who were willing to volunteer, and they were able to, all I did was just dispatch the books to them earlier. In fact, some places where I couldn't send t-shirts, we just sent the design of t-shirt and send funds to make the t-shirt that they wore. And that's just a measure of organization, to say you are able to influence people. The glory is for everybody. They are also able to own their space. I didn't say, oh, let me see how you're organizing the book drive there. Please read this particular side of the notes to them. They have the book. We already just shared ideas. Okay, you sit with the children, you share the stories with them. the pictures came out beautiful, different perspectives. Some of the videos were so interesting to see, and that's because I allowed them to lead in their different niches where they were, right, and in the different locations. So that's just a personal example of how to say that leaders don't do all the work themselves. If I was to be in 10 locations yesterday, I'm sure I cannot even have this meeting today. I'll probably somewhere in the hospital fainting with some syringe or drip in my body, because I would imagine how many trips I'll have to go around Nigeria for a start, and then maybe now catch a flight to Ghana because I want to distribute books, when there are people there that you could have influenced to actually help you to achieve the results. Then leadership must have a clear and focused vision, goal, and objective. All the while I've been talking about the fact that there's a positive change, but positive change is relative. For us yesterday, our positive change was we want to ensure that these children get the book at no cost for free, and also get to understand God's word, and they are conscious that God loves them and God has good plans for their lives through the messages in the book. That was our goal yesterday. That may not be the goal that is definitely not the goal of AYLF. That may not be your goal at the national level. That your goal at the national level might be, okay, just let's even get people to say, I'm proudly African. We just want to change the narrative. We want to just instill some measure of hope in the youth, amongst youth in Africa, to say, let everybody not japa like we say in Nigeria. Maybe we can just, your plan is that in my own country, I'm just going to do a campaign. Proudly Africa. This is what I'm doing in Africa. I'm super excited to be a Nigerian. I'm super excited to be from Botswana. I'm super excited to be a Ghanaian or whatever, right? So imagine having that kind of goal. That's your own goal. Then it's now clear what your positive change will be, right? So you must have a clear and focused vision, goals, and objectives for you to be a leader, to be honest. Then effective leaders earn respect. I think I would like to dwell on this a bit. Leaders are not, because you're a leader, and since leadership is by action and not position, just because you're now the national president doesn't mean now we cannot talk to you. Yeah, up there. In fact, you need to be bringing your glasses down to say, who is there? Like some old grandma and all of that, right? No, people earn respect with your actions, with the way you're able to influence. You would earn people's respect naturally, trust me. People are very inclined towards respecting people that are selfless, people that are open-minded, people that respect them. Like they say, respect is reciprocal. That's what the icon there is trying to display. Respect is reciprocal. If you respect me, I'll respect you. So there's no point saying, if you see me in the morning before you brush your teeth, all of you should call me and greet me. Lord, all hail the national president of so country. No, it's just going to be, in fact, that's no respect to, if you ask me, because they will all be hypocrites if they do that. But a selfless leader, a leader who is driven by positive change, who is willing to help the subordinates or followers, as well, in different cases. Not everyone is your subordinate. Most people would like followers, right? Is able to earn respect by their actions, how they're able to influence people, how they're able to engage people, how they're able to also, how would I put it now, to also be effective on their job. People will just naturally admire you and say, okay, I want to be mentored by you. I like how you do your work. You see young people, we say we have the Nelson Mandela. Those are the type of people we aspire to be, the freedom fighters, Martin Luther King, and the rest of them. And you're wondering, why I don't want to call names, but our recent leaders, how many people really want to be like them? Do you think that they've earned respect? Sometimes you go to Twitter and or X as well, and you just see how they are shading these people. Some would even draw caricature of them, make jest of them in very ridiculous ways. That's not respect, because it's because their actions are not right. So if you are a leader, if you don't want to be those you pointed accusing fingers at and say, oh, look at these ones, they don't know what they are doing, they are just there for nothing, they're just there for the money. If you don't want to be those people tomorrow, it starts from today, being selfless, being a servant leader, right? Being a transformational leader who is going to earn respect naturally from people and not lord it over them or impose it on them, right? And yes, this also has to do a lot with your personality. If you are the bossy type, or you tend towards being bossy, you just want to watch yourself a bit. You also want to read more books, you want to train yourself, listen to podcasts as well, or even go for therapy, and then explore those options to also make yourself or make the quality of your life better. It's not a sin that you appear to be bossy, probably based by your growth through nurture or nature, but you just want to also learn, right? It's important. Then leadership requires taking risk. This goes without saying. I'm sure that all of you here are risk takers, if you ask me. For you being bold to apply for a national presidency is no joke, right? You know that it costs something. Your name is at stake, your personality is at stake. If something goes wrong somewhere in that country as regards AYLF, you are the focal person they are reaching out to. So while it takes some risk, it's not for you to run away and say, I would, after this call, listening to Mrs. Ayomide, I'm just going to drop off and say I'm no longer participating. I don't want to take any risk. No, that's not my point, right? My point is, while it requires risk taking, you can do it. That's why you have people, and that's why even this kind of meetings is there to also help you know where your strength, identify your strength as I'm speaking, your weaknesses, what can I do to be better. For every one of us taking a risk in anything we are doing. Even if you risk not having this, if you also decline. So why don't you embrace the challenge and also just get better and also make a name, right? And also be outstanding amongst your peers. I think that's also already worthy of note as it were. Then finally, leadership requires self-knowledge, accountability, and self-awareness. This is borderline around emotional intelligence. You need to know yourself. You need to be aware of yourself. Like I was saying, if you think you are the type of person that you would rather say, get out, but instead of, can you kindly excuse me? Then you know that I have a tendency to be a bossy leader. What can I do to nip it in the bud before I become before I become the president of my country, right? As at the national level that you are, or maybe even in your previous levels of areas where you've led in the past, people are giving feedback that, not the, I don't want to work with this woman. Oh, every time, she doesn't even care about my work-life balance, always dumping work on my desk or something. You might want to review such feedback and say, am I really like that? Is it this other person? Is it me? What can I do to get better? So a leader needs to always on the go check with yourself. Is this really what I want to do? Is this how I really want to appear? As regards to your brand, your self-image. Do I want people to see me as a wicked person? Do I want them to see me as, oh, there goes another woman in leadership that will not allow anyone to have rest of mind? Or, oh, this person is different. Oh, no, she's so down to it. She's very nice. And at the same time, stern. She asks you to do your work. She gets it done. She's someone that is result-driven. You would shape how people will perceive you, right? And it starts with your actions day in, day out. And the truth is, nobody, you can't say, I was born like that. None of us, we were all born as a clean slate, right? So it's true nurture and nature, probably our environment, people we've engaged with, people we've seen, people that mentor us consciously, unconsciously, that influence how we act or how we react, right? So leadership requires self-knowledge, accountability. So accountability in the sense that you have somebody that you're also accountable to. Maybe a mentor, a role model will likely be distant, but a mentor, or maybe even a friend that you're like, I can be honest with you, who I actually shouted at one of my followers yesterday. I didn't like it. What do you think I should have done differently in this situation? And then you have that friend who's able to say, oh, well, I think you should apologize to that person. Me, national president, saying sorry, you'll now screenshot it and post it on Twitter. No, but yes, you are saying sorry because you have acknowledged that what you've done is wrong. So those are just that's an example and just possible nuances that you have somebody you're accountable to, probably a leader you also look up to in your environment, in your environment or anywhere, who can also say, oh, look at you, Emmanuel, look at you, Judith, you can do this better. This is how you should structure your thought next time. This is how you should go about this type of strategy in another situation. Or even before you go ahead and say, well, I'm trying to organize a campaign, what do you suggest? What do you think? And even I'm sure the CEOs and the founder and the co-founder of AYLF are people you can also access and reach out to brainstorm ideas and all of that for accountability's sake. So that wraps up the perspectives of leadership. I hope you are learning something. And I think I have just 2 slides to go before we call it a day from my end. It's here I'm speaking to what the roles of the leaders are, right? So let me just read what I have here. It says transformational leadership can be practiced, but it's arguably the most efficient when it is authentic to that individual. So what this means is it's still tied to your personality. In as much as you want to be a transformational leader, you need to act like a transformational leader. They will say fake it till you make it type of thing. Yes. So it has to be, it's also very efficient when it's authentic to when you have that person who's very willing to serve, who is very willing to go out of your way to help people, who is very willing to already cite a problem and say, oh no, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, but I'm going to just pull everybody together to fix it. And it's even in the tiniest things. Just yesterday, in one of the locations where the book was shared, was a school somewhere in Lagos. And I just, when he did the video, I just saw that, oh wow, the place looked very untidy. And I'm like, oh, is there a need that this school has that needs to be fixed? Then he said the children are sitting on the floor, that they don't have chairs and table. I was like, wow, interesting that they don't have chairs and table. That you mean you teach them on the floor? He said, yes. So I said, how much does it cost to get a table and chair? He said it was 22,000. I said, ha, in my mind, I'm like, that's quite a lot. So I was thinking I could possibly give. I'm like, okay, maybe I could afford one or two table and chair. And then I said, okay, no problem. I'll just post on my status and see if anybody will be interested. I don't have all the, and they needed 20 of them. So that's going into 440,000 naira, as it were. This was still yesterday. And then I just posted on my status that there's this need for this school. If anybody's interested, these children are sitting on the floor. Can we raise some money so that they don't get to sit on the floor by Children's Day? Just let me know if you'll be interested. And you won't believe it. Some persons just said, okay, please send me the account number. At least between yesterday and today, we've gotten payment for like 5 chairs, 5 tables and chairs, and my money is not part of it. So as a leader, you may not even be resourced in the moment, but you've identified a problem and you just have a heart to fix it. That's who a leader is, right? I'm still going to contribute. I'm waiting that at the end of the month I'll be able to save up. Some persons just saw it on my status and said they have the money now, they are willing to send it now, and they sent it yesterday. Like that. If I didn't see the problem, or I didn't even move it from that stage, so okay, let me ask people in my community. Who knows? Anybody might have some money that they would like to give or contribute towards that cost. If I did not try it, I wouldn't have known that I would have gotten 5 people between now and yesterday. So actually, I've not just some people, apart from the 5, some people have said I will give towards the end of the month. I mean, 5 people have actually sent their money for 2 tables and chairs each. That's impressive, right? So, like I said, a type of leader like this focus on decision making that benefit the organization, the community, rather than personal gain. I'm not sitting on the chair. I don't have children that are going to the school that will sit on the chair, right? Or sit on the floor. But just being influenced by humanity, our passion for humanity, that, oh, these children, some people even in the urban areas, their parents are dragging them inside the car to go to school. They don't want to go to school. But these children will show up every day and sit on the floor to learn. That's really, that was just what got to me, that, wow, so much determination to be educated and not to maintain the status quo in their lives. They could have been fishermen like their parents, or even just decide to grow up to be touts. But they are showing up there, and the school also is a free school. So I also appreciate the person who is also anchoring it, who is able to put together a free school and also just trying to use donations to run the school. Like, so that person there, even though he's in that far local government in Lagos State, is a leader. He's a leader far better than even some persons with some honorable title in my country, to be honest. So a transformational leader, by all accounts, is a good leader. They show sound value, good judgment, and great character. And I believe that we have everyone here in this room are great leaders, right? So some characteristics that just make leaders stand out, they motivate. That they possess that power to ignite the flames of perception and determination and enthusiasm. So if somebody can say, there's something happening, I need everybody to gather, that person is a leader. If the person is able to influence decisions or motivate people towards an action, or a positive action, by the way, that person is a leader. Even if it's a negative one, interestingly, if that person has that quality, that person can use that quality for a good purpose. Some people that are able to have a gang, run a gang or a brothel, they're actually leaders for you to bring people together and have them do evils and viles or crimes in society. And they're all listening to you and doing your bidding. That person has tendency of leader. The person is just not a good leader. The person is a bad leader because the person is not driving towards a positive change, right? Then also, leaders are mentors and coaches. So they play different roles. So a mentor is somebody who's going to handhold you through a process, or who's going to be there for you you reach out to the person, you have access. But for a coach is a short-term supervision, right? Somebody can, and maybe probably coaching you in a particular skill. Well, I want to just improve my computer skill. You could get a coach for 3 to 6 months who's going to just walk you through that, help you. And after the 6 months, the engagement is over. But a mentor is somebody that is with you for life, at least for a very long time. Right, so you're able to go back to, the person is able to watch you grow from this point, maybe as a school, as a university president, now you're a national president, person is still going to be there when you become the governor of your state or something, right? So that person is able to watch you as you progress in life through your journey, then leaders are decision makers. As much as possible that you want everybody around you, want to influence people, the leader must be able to make a decision, must be able to take a stand, must be able to arrive at a conclusion. You cannot say, oh, we want to do this, but since everybody did not agree, we cannot do this. No, a leader is thinking, how can we bring everybody to get a voice? It may not be what you want, but let's get to a point that, okay, this is what we are going to do. So a leader is able to bring everybody to drive progress and steer the direction either of the team or even their personal lives, right? So a leader cannot just say, let's see how it goes. Let's just wing it in the Nigerian or the Gen Z parlance. Let's wing it. Let's just say, let's go with the flow. No, a leader cannot be going with the flow. If not, there will be no result. So a leader is that person there in a meeting saying, okay, we've said this, great ideas. Which one should we do? Okay, we're doing everything. Which one should we start with? Let's say January, this is it. February, by March, this is what we should be doing. That's the way a leader is. So ensuring that there's a consensus, there's a decision. And with that decision, everybody's standing up there with action pointing, this and that are what we are going to do or we are going to achieve, right? Okay, so that brings me to my last point on embracing diversity, which is really the crux of our theme, right? So you are a leader, especially in this type of environments where we are not all from the same cultural background. We are not even from the same, maybe some of us don't even share the same religion, right? Or beliefs or opinion about certain things. So how can we embrace diversity as an effective leader? So I wrote a quote here, says from Felicia Okoba, who is the co-chair of Rising Leaders. You may want to check them out as well. It says, we believe that strength can be found in our differences, in how we see the world, how we process information, what we do, and where we are from. So wherever you find yourself, there is a strength found in our difference, to be honest. You might think that, oh, well, this person might be just very slow to their approach. There's this person on my team is always driving everything. But maybe that person is just very detail-minded. That person just have a knack for seeing things through and saying, there be no errors at all, right? Meanwhile, there's somebody else who is very spontaneous, can just see something and say, everybody, let's do this. This is a problem. I've identified a solution. Let's just get everybody to fix it now. And like, this one is always rushing, or this one will not even think things through. But in that nick of time, the person has been able to solve something. That's his own unique perspective, but that's our own unique perspective. And it's beautiful. So bringing all of us, if everybody's the same, I've heard someone say that, but if we are all the same, the world will be very boring. And there will be no point, actually. Imagine if everybody is a Nelson Mandela. Who then will will benefit from the freedom? Because everybody will be dead right now. Sorry. Or if every other person is just a random person that doesn't really care about fighting for freedom, probably we'll all be enslaved till now. So we just need the right mix and balance of different people, right? And that's what brings all of us together in a beautiful world. That's what makes the world beautiful. So as a leader, you need to recognize that diversity on your team and say, okay, I know we are not all the same. There's this person from Cameroon, there's this person from Cote d'Ivoire, there's this person from Botswana, there's this person from Namibia, from Zambia, from Rwanda. They are very different. What can I do? And here am I in Nigeria. From Nigeria, our perspectives are different. Maybe even our languages, how we speak is different, and X, Y, Z, right? So what should you do as a leader? I've written out 4 points here, and my source is frederickmark.com. You might also want to check that afterwards. One is learn about unconscious biases. The truth is, I found out that every one of us, we are all biased. Give it or take. Some persons are biased towards, oh, she's a woman speaking. I'm not even going to listen to her. I thought it was a guy they were going to invite for this thing. That's all, they are done. They don't even know it, but they are biased. Some other person may say, oh, why is she not tying her hair? Why is she opening her hair? And she says she's a married woman. Some persons have those biases. Some person can look at another guy and say, oh, what is this that he's wearing? Why does he talk like this? Why does he eat like this? Why does he look like this? His face is not fine. Also, you'll be shocked that people have different, we all, not even, I'm saying every one of us, including me, all have our unconscious bias. But what an effective leader does is, you know it. Don't pretend. Okay, in my own case, people that are short, I don't like them. I'm not saying that's me. I'm giving an instance. Okay, I don't like people that are short. So anytime I see a short person, I don't want to listen to the person. Imagine that that's your own bias. You won't go out there saying, I don't like short people. But what you do is that whenever a short person comes to you, you pay extra attention because you know that by default, you don't want to listen to them. That's your bias. It's different from someone who is not aware and just say, I just don't like this person. You can't just say you don't like this person. There's a reason why you don't like him. Explore it. Is it because you really don't, maybe does this person remind you of someone or something that's why you don't like him or her, right? So those are the different things. Some people feel somehow towards Black people or even fair people or colored people. Even I feel that there are many Africans that are biased towards white just because of the colonial experience that we've had and stories that we've heard, that you see a white person who might be willing to even offer help, but there's a mental block that, oh, this one wants to use me. In fact, if just by reaching out, you're already thinking, there goes this ones that are just trying to exploit we Africa. They just want to exploit us. They just want to exploit us. And that, without knowing, that unconscious bias is preventing you from an opportunity to benefit possibly from a potential grant or donation or something, or even funding for your work or project as well. So the truth is, we all have our unconscious bias. There's nobody here. And I won't want to ask you to tell me what your unconscious bias is. But my point is, be aware of your bias and your prejudice, and just be extra careful when you encounter it. Whenever you see someone, some persons, like I said, they cannot just listen to it. If a woman is their leader, if there's a female president, I think Judith is one. Some persons can say, just because she's a woman, I cannot work with her. Simple. They have moms, they have sisters. They don't even know that the reason they are really upset is probably because they've just experienced something. Someone has told them that, oh, women are just very hard to work with. So interestingly, some of those biases even come from what other people have said. You've not experienced it. Maybe the person have just said, oh, women are very problematic when they are leaders. You've just heard that. I know there's a bias in Nigeria that if you see a woman driving on low cost, that she must be very stubborn. So if you see a female driver on low cost, that the woman must be very stubborn. It's a bias. I don't even know where they got that from, what data was used to influence that. But an average Nigerian thinks that a woman with a low cost driving a car is a very stubborn person. So imagine meeting someone like that and then saying, maybe the person just said, oh, I like your idea, but I'm thinking of something. Oh, you see, stubborn. She's not even going to listen. Very defensive. Already, that's what the Hebrew is to say. Without exploring and knowing that this is coming from something you've actually heard and not experienced. So just being open-minded and mindful of your unconscious bias. Then 2 is being an active listener, right? Listening more than speaking leads to transformation in leadership. So as a leader, there's a meeting. You're not the only one talking. And then when everybody leaves, what do you get from the meeting? Maybe our leader has been talking since the president is the one that is his business now, it's his family business, let him be doing it. And then people are just rumbling and feeling bad because they're not able to express themselves. I was still speaking to some friends earlier today, and there's this organization where they said that if you are in the leadership, there's nothing you can say. You're only there to follow whatever the leads are assigned to you. I don't think that's a good trait at all. Because what that means is that they have ideas they want to share that can better the organization, but they would rather not share it because people have shared experiences, they've also possibly shared experiences, and nobody listens to them. So what's the point? That's the position they are like, okay, let everything scatter now. Maybe they said we should not talk. So they have that mindset of position. There's that position that nobody will listen to me, nobody cares about what I say, and that's affecting the growth of the organization. It's as sad as it can be. So be an active listener. Don't just be part of those saying, they are not listening to us. You too, now that you are a national president, are you listening to people? What are you doing differently, right? So another one is communicate with clarity. Clear communication is the most important thing. So I was still doing a course on effective communication again, very recently. I think this was during the week. And person betrayed that if your message doesn't get to the speaker, then it's not communicated. Since morning that I've been speaking now, since time I've been speaking, if nobody gain anything and say, understand that they are living here with fact that, okay, this is who a transformational leader is, this is how I can be better as a transformational leader, and this is what I'll do differently in my space now that I've been inaugurated as national leader, I have not communicated since. I must have just been singing or just talking for no reason. So if there is no end result, the fact that the person you are speaking to ultimately understands the message you are passing across, there is no communication. And working in a diverse group like that, it's very important that you are clear, because some languages or some words, it might be the same English language we're all speaking. Some words or French language, some words will mean different things to different people. So just ensuring that regardless of devoid of emotions, devoid of anything, just know that what I'm trying to say is that all of us need to achieve a project by Q3. So imagine a leader now saying this is when Q2 now, right? Okay, now you've been inaugurated and you just have a meeting with your team and say, welcome, my name is XYZ, I'm the national president, I'm super excited to be here, blah, blah, blah. And then you're saying, what I want us to achieve, at least by July, we should be able to go back to the CEO or the founder of AYLF and tell him we have achieved this in our country. Just say it clearly like that, so that I don't have ideas. I will say I don't even have any ideas yet. I would like to hear your ideas. So everybody knows that what you're saying, that we just want a result, or we want multiple results by July. And everybody's thinking, so okay, in what line is the result? Oh, it can be across any of the SDG. Let's prioritize SDG 1, 3, and 16, or SDG 1, 7, and 18. Sorry, there's no 18. SDG 7, 6, and 9. Let's prioritize these SDGs and see what we can achieve in our country in the Ds. Or you are going in the line of African Union Agenda 2063 to say, Africa Union already has an agenda for 2063. I'm not a fan of SDGs. So let's focus on the aspiration 1 to 6 and see, or 1 to 7 rather, 7 aspirations, aspiration 1 to 7. Which one should we prioritize in our national, in our country, and achieve result by July? Everybody's clear that our president said he wants us to achieve result by July. Whatever the result is, what we don't know yet, but we'll be working, we'll be suggesting ideas, agree on it, and then move. But imagine somebody there just coming and just saying, yes, I know we are here together, we just want to, and the person, at the end of the day, if they ask anybody that comes out of that meeting to say, what did the president say? He was just telling us plenty things. Oh, I don't even, if they cannot say one thing like this, that you said, I'm sorry, you didn't communicate with them because they didn't hear Jack. It might also be, it could also be a problem with the receiver if the person is not paying attention, if the person is not mindful. But everybody in a room of 10 cannot be present. 10 people in a room and nobody can remember what the president has said. The president most likely have not communicated anything. So even in our country, there was an instance of that. Once when we had a new president this year, at his inauguration, he said that the fuel subsidy, that's petrol rates, fuel subsidy has been removed. Meanwhile, the previous administration already removed it but did not announce. But the way he announced it, what everybody got was, you are the one, like the new president is the one removing it that day. And that just led to the hiking fuel, even to today. It hasn't been rectified. It was a grave mistake by him. And that was just because of poor communication. Actually, wanted to, while he was speaking, he was just saying, these are the what they handed over to me from the last from the last government. They've already removed fuel subsidy. Maybe that is how you should have said it, rather than we are removing fuel subsidy. Fuel subsidy have been removed, or fuel subsidy is not in the budget. I can't remember the exact words he used, but that just made the retailers, wholesalers, everybody went first. They were ordering it because they were waiting for the new price. When the new price didn't come, it just became expensive because people then started to demand for it. And we need petrol for nearly everything here in Nigeria. And that was what left the eye. Just that lack of clarity in communication. So imagine if our president has communicated clearly, what difference we have made now. So just imagine what's your own lack of clear communication also what the implications of lack of clear communication in your space. Then leading by example is also another important part, especially in diversity. Let people, you may not be able to communicate, you should communicate clearly, but you may not be able to reflect every other person's cultural nuances and all of that. But I think our gestures and actions align. All of us here know a corrupt person, whether it's in different languages, whatever language you might speak. If a person is siphoning funds that is meant for the public, it's the same definition in all of us' mind that that person is corrupt, that person is not good. And if you see somebody going around solving problems, changing the world, helping children, helping the elderly, fixing, supporting the youth, we know that that person is good in whatever language you speak. So when you lead by example, people can see by your action and say, no, just give it to our president. Our president is doing a great job. Give it to our president. Our president is a true leader, is a good leader. So demonstrate leadership by you involving yourself also in diversity events, asking tough questions, recognizing opportunities for growth. So if you say you are diverse, let's see that you are diverse. It won't be that when you are choosing your ESCOs, everybody is from your state. You can't tell me you are diverse like that. Or everybody is a guy if you are a guy, or everybody is a lady if you are a lady. That's not being diverse. So if you are diverse, we will see it in your action. We will see how diverse your team will be, how you are opening to listening to everybody. And it's not that every time everybody talks, you just say, okay, it's only so Mr. A and Mrs. B that I'm listening to. The rest of you, thank you for your contribution, but it doesn't count. That's clearly not being diverse. And maybe if you check Mr. A and Mrs. B, they are your brothers and sisters. That's not diversity. So as a leader, you should also show that you embrace diversity by showing it in your actions, in the little things that you do. You want to make a decision before you before you say, you by default you want to choose your brother or your sister, but then you are remembering, I'm a diverse leader, I need to show it. Okay, so let me introduce somebody else from another clan that is not mine, or another region that is not mine, so that it's people see that it's diverse. If you are explaining that your team is diverse, it's not diverse, because people should be able to see and just say, oh, okay, out of 10 people, we have 5 ladies and 5. That's clearly a diverse. And we have, out of the 5 ladies, we have 2 singles, 3 married, or 2 singles, 1 engaged, 2 married. And out of the guys, we have 2 married, 2 singles. People know that, no, this is clearly diverse. You don't even have to explain. But if you're going to explain, it's actually diverse. Oh, if we check, if we check the background, it's actually, no, you've lost everybody at that point. So I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to influence you, encourage you that you are doing well. Congratulations once again for being a leader. And just to also say that it's a work in progress. I said that before and I'm saying it again, that